Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
I'm finishing up my last semester of college and decided to sell some keychains and vinyl stickers I made at my school's spring market. I laser cut these keychains and put slogans, royalty-free icons, and some of my own personal designs on them. The keychains are pretty reasonably priced, $5. $8, depending on the complexity of the design, and usually sell like hotcakes at the market. I'm a big Minecraft fan, so I make a lot of creeper keychains, which are pretty popular with the younger demographic. I was at my stall at the market and was finishing up a few transactions with customers when a boy, probably age 10, 13, snags one of my more detailed and larger Minecraft keychains off of my display. I call after him and tell him he needs to pay for the keychain. He continues to run away and I flag over the market coordinator, John, to report the kid. Eventually, John finds the kid and tells him he needs to pay for the keychain. The kid, followed by his mom, makes their way over to my stall. I tell the mom that her kid stole the keychain and it either needs to be returned or paid for. The mom immediately begins going off about how ridiculous and embarrassing the whole ordeal is. Not only did I scream at her son, but I sent John over to make him pay, embarrassing him in front of the whole market. The mother exclaims that her son is going through therapy because he has onset social anxiety disorder as well as onset agoraphobia. She proceeds to look down at my shoes and see that I have a creeper on my Crocs and says that I could relate to the love of the video game and cut her son some slack because that's the honorable thing to do for a child in need. I told her that I would be happy to give him a discount, but I could not afford to give these away for free, as I use the profits to pay for my college tuition. I also told her that I sympathize with her son, but social anxiety is not an excuse to be a thief. This seemed to set her off, and she began screaming at me, saying her son is not a thief. At this point, she was scaring customers away, and people were actively walking away from the booths near mine to avoid the conflict. I tried to keep a level head, and at this point, her son looked like he wanted to shrivel away. I felt bad for the kid. No wonder he has social anxiety with a mom who was willing to make a scene like this. The kid tried to give me the $8 that the keychain cost, but the mom took it out of his hand and shoved it in her pocket. Eventually, John came and asked her to step away from the booth as she was disturbing customers. She ended up leaving and the kid paid for his keychain. I ended up throwing in a free sticker to apologize for him having a mother like that. Overall, I ended up selling out of my stock and had an uneventful rest of the market. Some onlookers even remarked that I handled the situation pretty well. Needless to say, I will probably be switching to online sales for the foreseeable future. I argued with my husband about whether or not to post this because I'm pretty sure this will make the local news and I didn't want to burn this account just yet. But he won ARPC, so here we are. Prepare yourself. This story has layers. We were at the dreaded big box store picking up potting soil because we are going to DIY ourselves through the isolation. Things aren't crazy here, but there is a 2 per customer limit on the majority of items. I assume this means everything, so we're getting 2 bags, each of a few different types of soil. My husband is loading the last of 8 bags on our cart when I hear her. I know it's a Karen just by the level of unnecessary outrage in her voice. Karen, are you kidding me? Not a lot of people out here in the garden center, but we all look to her. I was almost disappointed to see she didn't come with the requisite haircut. She actually looked like a frazzled mom. Her kid tugging on her hand in an overfull basket of groceries, and I had a moment of, girl, I feel you. But damn it, she was pointing at us. Karen, you can't buy that many. You are hoarding. My husband, yeah, we can. We're getting 2 each. Karen, oh, you don't fool me. I know what you're doing. My husband, so do I. Get lost. I'm just sitting there imagining all the ways I'm gonna rock his world tonight. Well, Karen huffed at that, spun around and yanked her kid back inside to go complain to the employee working the register nearby. Now, we already paid for our items. The employee had come out and scanned the bags earlier and he could easily see our cart from inside. So, being finished, we pushed the cart out of the garden center into the parking lot, and then the automatic doors open behind us and I hear, now they're stealing. Just great. We load the soil in the car and turn around to bring the cart back and look at plants. By the time we get back, Karen has given up on trying to convince the employee we're the Bonnie and Clyde of dirt and is now trying to negotiate skipping somebody in line. She has a child, you see, and her handbasket. Well, it's just so full and heavy. Could she please just scotch right on in here real quick and it'll just be an extra second, she swears. The woman Karen is trying to skip is young, maybe college age, and wearing a face mask. Not a medical mask, but the stretchy kind you'd wear while riding a motorcycle or when you're skiing. My husband has just informed me it's a neck gaiter. The mask is black and has like scary wolf teeth on it that honestly made the girl look like somebody you should not mess with, even though she was wearing a Gap t-shirt and flip-flops. Mask girl is just shaking her head no, and that's all I got as we dropped off the cart. I browse, pick up a couple plants, and we head inside to wait in line. Now it's showtime. Karen and Mask Girl are near the register facing off, no pun intended. From the looks of things, Mask Girl finished her purchase and Karen stopped her before she could leave. I don't know if she grabbed her or anything, but Karen was still holding her full handbasket, so she hadn't checked out yet. Well, she hadn't paid for her groceries yet because clearly this woman had checked out. Karen, but you don't even need it now, you're leaving. My son could get sick because you won't give it to him, and he needs it. Mask Girl, hell no, you can't have it. Back off, lady. Karen, but my son really likes it, and it's obviously made for boys anyway. Why would you even want to wear something so scary? Mask Girl, because I like it. And it has my germs on it. Why would you put a stranger's mask on your kid? Karen, oh, why are you being so rude? You wouldn't let us go through the checkout first, and now you're making my son very upset. Mask Girl, your problem, not mine. And then Mask Girl turns to leave while Karen manifests the biggest balls ever and grabs Mask Girl by the back of her mask. Let me make a side note here. When all of this is going down, we're all just standing in line and watching. The register is still going boop, boop, boop as the employee scans items. But otherwise, we are all just inside this hypnotic bubble. But when Karen reached out towards Mask Girl, it was like the bubble popped and made everything crystal clear. Not slow-mo or anything, but I absolutely felt hyper-aware. Like Spider-Man. Karen reaches out. People on both sides of me inhale loudly. Karen grabs the mask and yanks. A lady on my right yells and my husband steps forward. So getting late tonight. Mask Girl tucks her head down and she turns to Karen like a pissed-off bull with a bright and shiny new target. I think Karen was going to say something like, "Don't walk away from me" or something, but all she got out was, "Don't wreck." I looked around because the noise was so loud I figured the roof was about to cave in. But out of the corner of my eye, I see Karen spasm and drop to the floor writhing. Little Miss Mask Girl had a taser. I don't know when she pulled it out. This tiny little flashlight-looking thing, but she laid Karen out with it. And not one of us moved for what felt like forever, like we were frozen. And then it was bedlam. Security guard shows up, more employees show up, Mask Girl is chilling like she's been through this before and knows what comes next. The kid is screaming that the wolf girl killed his mom even though she's groaning and sobbing on the floor and clearly not dead, but maybe wishing she was. The people that had been in line with us were all talking at once, trying to tell the security guard what happened. We hung around just witnessing the insanity for maybe 2 minutes before Karen started choking out demands for an ambulance, the police, a lawyer, the mayor, restitution, and reparations. My husband made eye contact with an employee and got a thumbs up when he put the plants on a shelf and pointed towards the door. We got the hell out of there. We drove home in silence until my husband parked the car in our driveway, and then we just burst out laughing. Neither of us have ever seen anything like that before. We live in a small beach town. People are super laid back and mellow. Karen was anything but, and I hope to never see her again. I currently work in a print hub and mentioned in a previous post that malicious compliance kind of just comes with the job. Here's another one that I just learned the outcome for this week. I had been on medical leave for quite some time. During that time, a number of systems and programs we used changed. In particular, our online systems for business cards and similar products had changed. The way the system was before my leave was that when a customer uploaded the file, the system would slightly stretch the file to include a bleed. If a file was submitted with a bleed, nothing would be done. For those not in the know, a bleed on a print file is an excess of the image in the design that is meant to be cut off. Most business cards have colored blocking for style, and this ensures that there is no ugly, uneven white edge on the finished product. Essentially, it allows the customer to get what they envision. Astute readers would realize our old system could cause issues, however, especially when writing or images are close to borders. Information could be cut off due to being over the bleed line after the image was stretched. As such, we as workers knew that a change was going to happen. This change happened during my medical leave, as the online system was updated to allow more customizations. When customers uploaded files, they were presented with a digital canvas where they could change their text and images on their file. 2 boxes were presented on this canvas. One box showing the finished size of the product and one showing the bleed we needed to ensure a proper cut. The problem is, the system no longer automatically stretched the provided file to the finished size, and certainly not to the bleed size. The new system allows customers to properly fit themselves, but rarely do they size it to bleed. As such, when we print and cut the finished product, there is often this ugly white band on 2 of the sides. As the cutting system is all automated and without those bleeds, there were always problems. Additionally, our large guillotine cutter is constantly in use for orders that need it, and to reprogram it and interrupt orders to trim a millimeter off every order was unreasonable. My manager, who will be named D, brought this to the attention of the system admins in it, but was pretty much dismissed. He was told to push those orders that did not have bleed into problem status, and they would take a look at the problem. Also, to send a list of problem orders still not handled at the end of each week. When I returned to work 3 months ago, I was given a rundown of everything that was new, including this new problem. I followed this malicious compliance currently in progress, none the wiser to what D was doing, pushing the orders without bleed into problem status, which was quite a fair amount to be honest. I didn't really think much about it, however. Towards the beginning of this month, D had asked me to scan in February's problem orders, easily 500 orders, ensure each problem was its own separate file, then file them in a filing cabinet out back. I have listened to horror stories about office scanning, but I don't really have an issue where I am as we have a high-capacity, automated scanner, so this was no issue. I did as I was told. In the folder they told me to put it in on the shared computer and then went to file it. There were over thousands of problem orders stuck in limbo due to this bleed issue in this filing cabinet. Not only did this likely make us look bad to head office, but the customers were probably pissed. When I asked D what was going on with this issue, he explained everything and informed me of his plan. It turned out I intended to do nothing about this bleed problem. They wanted us as production to fix the problem, which meant designing. The design team gets paid a lot more than we in production though, and as we weren't being paid that wage, D was having none of it. He was told each week to send in all orders that haven't been fixed as of yet, so he was. D and the supervisor created a program that would submit each problem order as a ticket to it, one at a time, at the end of the week. Previously, they had sent everything in as one ticket. This is why they had me scan each problem order as its own file, rather than just a single PDF with everything in it. This program ran on Friday, late afternoon, just before IT's weekend started. D knew IT needed to acknowledge all problem tickets before they left the office. Every 15 seconds a new problem ticket popped up and they needed to acknowledge it, all 500 files before they left. I don't know exactly how well it worked, but it certainly worked. 2 hours, 5 minutes after hours at least, depending how fast their Cs are. I did the math, and that's only the stuff that I scanned myself. From my understanding, D and supervisor had also decompiled the files they had already submitted and resubmitted them as well. After the first week, the regional manager, who is a really cool guy, we'll call him Ray, stopped by to check in and ask why it was cursing D's name, and D explained it. Ray said, in no uncertain terms, if they haven't done anything about the jobs by the end of the week, you should follow up. Wing. At the end of last week, D set up the program to ask for updates on each of the problem jobs, as well as the program to submit new problem jobs from last week and set it to run. When we came in this Monday, we got an update from it that the system has been adjusted, and customers should not be able to submit jobs anymore that do not have borders meeting the bleed line. We still have some issues as reorders can override this fix, but it's been a lot better now, and this week has been extremely productive. D, meanwhile, came into his email having over 20 unread messages and over 500 junk mail as the spam filter kicked in. Each message was the program's response asking for an update, with the first few responses from it being, "We are still looking into it," and the later responses simply being the letter A. There is still the matter of the orders still stuck in limbo, so there may be an update, but the main compliance has been settled. Edit 1. The reason why this problem was not fixed before was because all the other locations were doing workarounds to fix the problems themselves. We were the only location making a stink about the issue as the workaround was outside the scope of our paycheck, so it was considered low priority. It still does not excuse them, but they changed their tune in the end.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.